The Legacy of Fenrir. A Wolf's Journey Chapter 1. Born of the wild, the forest was alive with the whispers of the wind, weaving through the towering pine trees that stood like silent guardians over the land. A silver moon bathed the wilderness in pale light, casting eerie shadows over the snow-covered ground. In a hidden den, nestled beneath the gnarled roots of an ancient oak, a she-wolf named Liren labored through the night. The air inside the den was warm, filled with the rhythmic sound of her breath as she welcomed her newborns into the world. Among them was a small, silver-furred pup with piercing blue eyes, Fenrir. His father, Thorn, a powerful black-furred alpha, watched over them, his golden eyes filled with pride and an unspoken promise to protect them. The world outside was cruel, but for now, the den was a place of warmth, safety, and quiet. Rising for weeks, and Thorn knew a battle was inevitable. Then, on a bitterly cold night, the attack came. Malgrim's wolves poured into the valley like a storm, their howls splitting the silence. Fangs clashed, claws ripped through flesh, and the scent of blood stained the crisp winter air. Thorn fought bravely, leading his pack against the invaders. But they were outnumbered. Liren, realizing the danger, grabbed Fenrir and his siblings and fled into the depths of the forest. The cries of battle faded behind them, but Liren did not stop running. For days, they wandered. The snow-covered wilderness showed no mercy. One by one, Fenrir's siblings succumbed to hunger, cold, and exhaustion. Then, the bear came. A massive grizzly, disturbed from its hibernation, lumbered into their path. Liren stood her ground, her fur bristling, her fangs bared. She lunged at the beast, biting and clawing with all the strength she had left. But it was not enough. The bear struck her down with a single, crushing blow. Fenrir, now the only survivor, stood over his mother's lifeless body, his small frame trembling in the icy wind. Chapter 3. A wolf alone. Fenrir was barely more than a pup, yet he was forced to fend for himself. Hunger gnawed at his belly. The cold burned his skin. The nights were long, filled with the distant howls of wolves that would not welcome a stranger. He survived on scraps, gnawing on frozen bones left behind by scavengers, catching insects, and drinking from half-frozen streams. His fur grew ragged, and his once bright blue eyes dulled with exhaustion. Then, one night, as a blizzard roared through the valley, Fenrir collapsed in the snow. His body was too weak, his legs too tired to carry him any farther. That was when Vale, the wise and battle-scarred alpha of a neighboring pack, found him. The older wolf stared down at the fragile pup with a mixture of curiosity and understanding. He had once been alone, too. Without a word, Vale picked up Fenrir and carried him back to his pack. Chapter 4. The Hunter's Path. Under Vale's guidance, Fenrir grew into a strong and skilled hunter. His first lesson was tracking. Vale led him through the forest, showing him how to read the ground, how the crushed grass revealed a deer's passing, how claw marks on a tree hinted at a bear's presence. Then came the test. One evening, the pack found the scent of a wounded elk. Its tracks were uneven, its blood speckled the snow. The wolves followed in silence, their ears pricked, their movements ghost-like. Fenrir's heart pounded. This was his first real hunt. As they closed in, the elk made a desperate attempt to escape. Vale gave the signal. The pack exploded into action. Fenrir ran with all his might, his powerful legs propelling him forward. The elk stumbled. This was his moment. Summoning every ounce of strength, Fenrir lunged, his fangs sinking into the elk's throat. The mighty beast struggled, then fell. For the first time, Fenrir felt the thrill of victory. He was no longer the helpless pup in the snow. Chapter 5. The Rise of an Alpha. Years passed. Fenrir grew into a mighty wolf, his silver coat gleaming in the moonlight. He had proven himself as a hunter, but Vale saw something greater in him, a leader. Then came the war. Malgrim had returned, stronger than before, seeking to claim Vale's territory. The battle was fierce and bloody, wolves clashing under the moonlight. Vale fought bravely but was mortally wounded. With his final breath, he turned to Fenrir and whispered, "Lead them." Fenrir, once an orphaned pup abandoned in the snow, now stood as the alpha of his own pack. Chapter 6. Hunting the great moose. With leadership came responsibility. Winter was cruel, and the pack was starving. Then, one morning, a scout returned with news. A great moose had been spotted near the frozen lake. Hunting such a beast was dangerous. The moose was powerful, its antlers sharp as spears. But Fenrir knew the risk was worth it. He led the hunt himself. The pack moved with precision, circling their prey. The moose charged, but Fenrir was ready. He darted forward, dodging its deadly hooves, before leaping onto its back. His fangs sank into its neck. The pack followed, bringing the beast down. That night, under the northern lights, the wolves feasted. Fenrir had done what leaders must do. He had ensured his pack's survival. Chapter 7. The next generation. With the land secure, Fenrir found love in Seraph, a fierce and intelligent she-wolf. She bore him 4 strong pups, Rhaegar, Nyra, Thorn, and Liren. Raising them was no easy task. They were playful, reckless, and eager to prove themselves. Fenrir trained them as Vale had trained him. He taught them to track, to fight, to respect the balance of the wild. One night, under a full moon, he gathered them atop a hill. "The wild will never be easy," he told them. "But you must be stronger than the storm, faster than your prey, and wiser than your enemy." His eldest, Rhaegar, looked up at him. "One day, I will lead like you, father," Fenrir smiled. Chapter 8. The Wolf and the Stars. As the years passed, Fenrir grew older, his fur streaked with silver. His children grew into mighty hunters, and Rhaegar took his place as alpha. On one final night, Fenrir stood atop the cliffs, looking over the land he had fought for. The stars shone above him, bright and eternal. Then, he lifted his head to the sky and howled one last time. A howl of victory. A howl of remembrance. A howl that would echo through the ages.
Thanks for watching Kids Hub. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, comment below, and share it with your friends. And most importantly, subscribe to Kids Hub for more fun and exciting stories. See you in the next adventure.